Hello everyone, welcome to another challenge video. Special thanks to all my lovely patrons, you are keeping this channel going. Hey, everyone come online this instant. Jeez, calm down. Not everyone has their phone constantly in hand. Well, you definitely not, given how often you lose it. Hey, I'm getting better, okay? Why are we here? Let me guess, another challenge? Again? Indeed. Why is it always me? Your partner's reactions are funny, usually. Fair, I guess. I don't know if I want to risk messing up with a challenge when we have so little time with Mori now. Oh, Yakun's flying back? Yeah, but only for a few days. I have a similar opinion. It will be fine. It's nothing horrible. Somehow I'm reluctant to believe that, but okay, go on. Okay, so I've seen this going around the internet and I thought it could be interesting. The point is to faint in front of your significant other and wait for their reaction. Oh no. What? It will be interesting. You can't tell me otherwise. That's not the point. Yeah, you weren't here back then, but we already did something like that before. And some of us still feel the after effects. Wait, really? What happened? No one told me. I'm also curious. Yeah, you weren't around either back then. In short, we did a prank to pretend to get hurt. But the prank was apparently cursed or something, so all of us ended up getting injured for real. Yeah, I still feel it when the weather changes. Same. I heard from Satori it was pretty bad on everyone's mental state too. You could say that. Oh, okay. I had no idea it was this bad. Well, I'm still going to do it. If anyone wants to join, feel free to do so. For others, maybe you could adjust it. Like pretend to just stumble or fall. That's not that bad, right? Yeah, that actually doesn't sound that bad. True, I'm stumbling all the time anyway. Klotz. Though, are you sure you want to risk getting the same outcome as us, Terushima? It will be fine. As long as it's me who would end up injured, it's not that bad. That's oddly sweet. Sugu already got his fair share of bad stuff, so it's time for the universe to split it a bit between us. Bad stuff? I'm not gonna tell you. Ask him. If he wants to tell, he will. But don't you dare to hurt him, or I will find you and end you. Chill, we won't. Good. Well then, whoever wants to participate, go ahead. Adjust the challenge to your heart's content and send the reactions here. I wanna see. Let's pray this doesn't end badly again. Yeah. The more Semi thought about the challenge, the less he wanted to participate. Shirabu's absolutely shattered expression was firmly engraved into his mind from the last time he woke up in the hospital bed after collapsing, and he definitely didn't want to see it again. Or be the cause of his beloved's tears and pain. No challenge or prank was worth that. Besides, it wasn't like he was being forced into participating. Terushima seemed pretty chill about the whole thing, and didn't seem to want to drag anyone along just for the sake of his entertainment. He definitely grew up a lot since high school. But still, even if he didn't know about the prank, there is a fine line with this. He sighed and rubbed his face, the letters moving in front of his eyes from staring at them for so long. He hated paperwork with burning passion, and wished nothing more than to throw it all away and go to curl on Shirabu's lap like one of their cats. But that depends in what mood he will be when he comes home. But maybe if he will get a bit worried. He shook his head and pushed the papers away from him. He could think about his plan after Shirabu came home from work. If there was something he dreaded, it was making Shirabu upset right after he got home. Last time was enough. Suppressing a yawn, he allowed himself to close his eyes for a moment. The next thing he knew was the sound of their door closing that made him jump. He frowned at one of the papers that stuck to his forehead and blew it off before leaning back in the chair to see into the hallway. Kenji? A soft grumble reached his ears, followed by a dull thud and colorful curse. Yeah, it's me. Are you okay? Yeah, it's just this stupid... Semi bit his tongue. Not in a too good mood then, I see. Do you need help? No, it's fine. As he said it, Shirabu marched into the living room, looking torn between exhaustion and annoyance, and Semi had to hold back from the urge to clear out the space. Did something happen? You look pissed. He could see Shirabu clenching his jaw, but then he just took a deep breath, his face softening a bit. It was just really busy today at hospital, you know? I'm tired. Sharp pain stung in Semi's chest, his shoulders slumping a bit. Oh, so I suppose I should leave you alone. Shirabu froze. Similar pain to the one in Semi's heart flashed across his face as he rushed to Semi and wrapped his arms around him, carefully sliding on his lap. Semi instinctively returned the embrace, pulling Shirabu as close as humanly possible, despite the confusion he felt over his actions. Kenji? What's... I'm sorry. For what? You didn't do anything worth apologizing. I did. Just look at you. You are worried to even talk to me when I say I'm tired. He pulled away a bit, only far enough to take Semi's face into his palms, all the different emotions making deep lines in his face. I'm snapping at you a lot lately, aren't I? It wasn't a question. Semi hesitated for a beat, but then sighed. Sometimes, yeah. It's not that bad though. Your job is demanding, both mentally and physically. It's normal you would get exhausted. It just catches me off guard sometimes. He startled when Shirabu threw himself around his neck again, gripping the fabric of his t-shirt as if his life depended on it. I'm so sorry, love. I'm so stupid. That's not true. It is. I'm hurting you so much and I didn't even realize it until last time. He let out a humorless laugh. I probably shouldn't even be surprised you got insecure about Shibata, right? It must look like I hate even being around you. Semi's throat closed. Do you? The grip around him tightened as Shirabu shook his head vehemently, his heart beating so hard Semi could feel it in his own chest. Of course not. I love being with you. I love listening to you talking and playing and just be around you when we are silent. You are my safe space, you know? Another humorless chuckle escaped from his mouth. Safe space, I say. And look what I do to you. The little broken edge in Shirabu's voice cracked Semi's heart. He nuzzled into the crook of Shirabu's neck, his hands subconsciously starting to caress his back. He wanted nothing more than to tell Shirabu that everything was alright, and he wasn't mad or sad. But the truth was, every snap of Shirabu's voice hit his mind pretty hard, always opening the crevasse in his heart. What he told Shirabu was true. He didn't blame him in any way, and for the most part, he knew it wasn't on purpose. But sometimes, when the time was bad, his mind was too easy to persuade otherwise. Let's go to sleep today. What do you think? We can talk about everything in the morning. He felt Shirabu stilling in his arms. Eita, Shh. It's fine. I'll be right behind you. But we both need to rest today. You'll see, tomorrow will be better. Still, Shirabu hesitated for a while before he reluctantly let go and pulled away. Semi didn't rush him, immediately missing the contact, and cupped Shirabu's face before he could get up. Don't be too harsh on yourself, okay? Not tonight. I will try. He got up, but still held on Semi's hand, as if he was afraid Semi would walk out the flat if he let go. You will be sleeping in our bed, right? You will. I will. I promise. He quickly collected the scattered papers on one pile and got up, groaning softly when his head spun. He gripped the edge of the table for support as his vision darkened, the low humming of his blood in his ears deafening him for a moment. Fuck. Eita! The familiar warm presence was immediately next to him, the arms once again wrapped around him, helping him to stay upright. What's wrong? Are you dizzy? Sit back down, don't get up if... Semi blinked a few times to get his vision back, finding Shirabu looking at him with fright written all over his face. He mentally cursed himself and took Shirabu's cheeks in his hands to stop the waterfall of words falling from his mouth. I'm fine, don't worry. My head just spun a bit. Nothing serious. Are you sure? Please don't lie to me about this. You have to tell me if something's wrong. I can't see you collapse again. So much for not doing the challenge. I swear I'm alright. It's probably just the tiredness, nothing more. He smiled before leaning in to connect their lips. All the more reason to go to sleep already. Shirabu still didn't seem convinced, and so Semi kissed him again and gently nudged him towards their bedroom. Come on, we both deserve it. Yuji, are you sure we need to go to that shop? Terushima pursed his lips into a small pout. Of course! I wouldn't go there if I didn't need to. And why do I have to go with you? To get on fresh air, duh. And to enjoy my stellar company. He smiled when he heard Daisho chuckle, the sound feeling like the sweetest music to his ears. For someone as expressive as Daisho, it used to be rare for him to smile, let alone laugh, when they started dating. Back then, Terushima swore to himself he would never take his boyfriend's smile for granted, no matter how usual would the sight become in the future. His own smile faltered a bit when he recalled the apocalyptic words of the other contestants in his challenge. He started it on a whim, just to have some fun and get reaction out of Daisho. But after hearing about the previous prank going so horribly wrong, he started to doubt. Which was also one of the reasons he decided to take Daisho out with him. Of course, he wasn't going to do a challenge like this in public, but it gave him time to think everything through. He didn't want to cause Daisho more pain. He shook his head to chase the gloom away and grinned brightly at the world, lightly squeezing Daisho's hand. By the way, did you think about the new haircut I was talking about? Daisho raised his ever so elegant eyebrow. And let you cut stripes into my hair? No, thank you. But Sugu, it would look great on you, I'm sure of it. Yuji, sunshine, you know I love you, but I'm not going to be your test subject. End of discussion. Terushima pouted. You are no fun. Just so you know, it would bring up your beauty. He smirked contentedly upon seeing the bright red tint spreading over Daisho's cheeks with his words. But of course, he was just telling the truth. He still couldn't fully grasp the fact that someone like Daisho decided to give him a chance, and in the end decided to stay together and even live together. Even though it had been about half a year since their first date, it still felt like yesterday. If only all things were this easy. Yuji, you are walking too far. He snapped out of his thoughts and looked around, realizing they were already in front of the store he was heading to. Oh, already? I thought we were much farther. Daisho's brows knitted together in concern, and Terushima would gladly kick himself if he could. Is something going on? No, don't worry. He smiled. I was just thinking about how lucky I am to have you. Daisho's expression shifted into one that Terushima knew all too well and hated the same amount. A one of uncertainty and worry, not even talking about the fear. Do you really think that? Even though... Terushima cupped his cheek to stop him from finishing the sentence. Yes, even with all that. I'm still happy I get to love you. And nothing will change that, okay? For a while, neither of them moved. Daisho stared at him with his eyes widened and with his lips slightly parted, before they curled up in a tender smile. You really are special, you know that? He gently tugged on Terushima's scarf to pull it a bit down and lightly pinched his cheek. I'm pretty sure I'm the lucky one here. Let's agree that we are both lucky together, Now come on, before they kick us out for blocking the entrance. He took Daisho's hand, entwining their fingers together as he led the way inside the shop. They were immediately surrounded by shelves full of hair dyes, shampoos, conditioners, and all other things a hairdresser could ever need. Terushima sighed happily, feeling in his element once again. This is heaven. Is it? Hey, you act exactly the same when we go to sports fair, so don't be judgmental. Leaving the note without answer, Daishio turned away to ostentatiously examine the different boxes in one of the shelves. Terushima clicked his tongue, but he couldn't find even a tiny bit of his being that could be annoyed at him. He continued to browse the goods, occasionally stopping to read over the descriptions while he still held onto Daishio's hand, if only to prevent him from running away. But Daishio didn't seem to want to do that, and obediently followed him around. A barely visible smile settled in the corner of his mouth. He looks content today. Maybe doing the challenge would be a bad idea now that... Welcome to Simbot. Is there anything I can help you with? Terushima glanced over at the clerk and shook his head. No, thank you. We are just looking around for now. The clerk nodded, but his eyes were still measuring them, enough for Terushima to feel Daishio's grip tightening a bit despite there being no hint of malice in the man's face. Alright, I'll leave you to browse then. But I'll have to ask you to put on some sort of face masks if you are planning to shop here. All color drained from Daishio's face. Terushima cursed inwardly when he felt Daishio's hands starting to tremble and turned back to the clerk. Is it necessary? We are the only customers here and I'll put mine on when I'll go to the register. Unfortunately, it's the store rules. All customers must wear face mask or other protection. He looked at Daishio, and Terushima instinctively positioned himself more between them. If your acquaintance doesn't have one, maybe you could borrow him your scarf. That would be enough. The sound that left Daishio's throat set off alarm bells in Terushima's mind. Okay, no, that won't do. We'll take our leave. He gripped on Daishio's still trembling hand and steered him towards the exit, taking care of only touching his shoulders. He ignored the clerk's voice calling something about just a cloth and focused solely on leading Daishio outside, his mind racing. Once outside, he set Daishio on a nearby bench before letting go of his hands and squatting down in front of him. It's okay. Breathe. Everything is fine, I promise. His heart broke, seeing Daishio's tears getting glossy, their dark color shining against his pale skin. He wanted nothing more than to take his hands in his own to stop the convulsive twitching of his fingers, but stopped himself before he could touch him. He left his hands hovering slightly above Daishio's, unsure what he could and couldn't do at that moment. Can I touch you? Instead of an answer, Daishio gripped his hands, squeezing even stronger than back in the store. Terushima led him, caressing small circles into his skin with his thumbs, taking note of just how cold it was. Sorry. It's alright. Just keep breathing, okay? Everything is fine. I promise. It's alright. Breathe. In and out. Long breaths, okay? In and out. He smiled when Daishio took a few shaky breaths, obviously trying to match Terushima's own breathing. That's it. You're doing great. Continue, okay? In and out. Can you count for me? 1, 2, 3. Good. Very good. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. To Terushima's immense happiness, Daishio's breathing slowly but surely steadied. His hands were still shaking, but at least he no longer looked seconds before collapsing. He continued to caress Daishio's skin, trying to chase more heat into it while mumbling soft reassurances to prevent him from slipping back. Damn this all! Yuji? His head snapped up, meeting his boyfriend's eyes, now filled to the brim with fright. How do you feel? Better, I think. Okay, no need to rush. Take your time. I'm with you. Why? Terushima bit his lip, holding onto all his willpower to not go for a hug, no matter how much he wanted to do that. It's not your fault, or something you can influence. Don't worry about it now, okay? I'll listen to everything you want to tell me when you feel better again. Daishio looked like he wanted to protest, but then just nodded and hung his head, raking his fingers through his hair. After a second of hesitation, Terushima got up and sat beside him, careful not to be pressed too close, but close enough so Daishio knew he could lean on him if he needed it. He fished out his phone and scrolled through the contact list until he opened the chat with one of the newer additions to his friends list. Private chat. Hi, I need your help. Urgently. It only took a few seconds for the answer to come. Hey Yuji, what's wrong? Thank you so much for watching. If you have any requests or ideas, feel free to write them under the pinned comment. See you next time.